Hi folks, it's Coach Kelvin here from the We Run Virtual Run Club and We Run Coach for Leeds and surrounding areas, as well as online coaching. In this little video, it's a progression from last week's video on hydration, and hydration is still one of the most important things. What I'm about to talk about, which is what to eat, doesn't really work if we're dehydrated. So we're going to talk about what to eat on those longer runs, so runs that are likely to last more than an hour and 15 to an hour and 20 minutes. We want to be fueling throughout the run, so right from the start, nibbling away at the food throughout the duration of the workout. And when we're exercising, our body's going to be using stored fat. You know, we often hear of this when we're working predominantly aerobically, we're burning predominantly fat and using oxygen as fuel. That's correct, but we've got to remember that that's stored fat. We don't want to try eat anything too fatty when we run, because it'll just stick in the stomach and it won't empty into the intestine very quickly, and it will also affect the absorption of the carbohydrate, which is the primary fuel source when we're exercising. And some people might say, oh, but I've heard that you burn a little bit of protein as well. That's true, but it's only a very tiny amount, and some proteins are useful in events that are much longer, maybe things that last, you know, over 12 to 14 hours, so kind of ultra runs. So we're looking at taking on board carbohydrate, and what we're looking at doing is we're looking at defending our muscle glycogen, so the sugars that are in our muscles that we've got, you know, we can exercise with a sort of couple of hours worth. If we take on board some carbohydrate, we'll use that rather than the sugars in our muscles. I'm also going to talk now about how much to take on board, and then in the next video next week I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about exactly what that is, whether you use bread, crisps or sports products like gels and powders. So we want to be taking on board somewhere between 50 and 100 grams of carbohydrate an hour. And you know, most people can handle somewhere in that sort of 60 to 80 grams an hour, and some people can handle quite a lot more. And you know, this, if we get this right, the hydration and nutrition on longer runs, it will make a bigger difference than probably anything else if we've trained effectively. I often talk to runners that have got, you know, carbon plated running shoes, expecting those to make them faster. And the truth is, in some populations they do, in some runners they make you slower, in some runners it makes no difference. But if we fuel well, it will definitely make you faster or be able to hold a pace for longer. I'm racing on Sunday, which is a 25k mountain race. Oh, excuse me, there's a helicopter going over at the moment here in Chamonix. I think it's gone now. I'm racing a 25k on Sunday, and I'm keeping things really simple and with 90 grams of carbohydrate per hour, and 50 of those grams are going to come from a powder and the rest are going to come from gels. And in my little video next week I'm going to explain in a bit more detail why I recommend that people do that, particularly when they're racing. So if you have any questions or thoughts on this video, please just pop them down in the comments below. And for now, happy running!